Hi guys. I wanted to actually start sharing some of my favorite books with you. Hopefully it won't clog up our YouTube channel too much, but since we don't really get a chance to do story time like we would at school, I thought it would be kind of cool if I could share some of my stories that I used to read to my kids. Some of them I've already shared with you, like this series by Chris Van Dusen, which you guys are going to remember. They're definitely some of our favorites, I know. If I Built a Car, If I Built a School, If I Built a House. And to be honest, I can't remember if we read this one or not. I know you guys did writing pieces, and we also did illustrations based on these stories. And you guys were so super creative, which I'll always remember for sure. So that's one series that I absolutely love. Another series that I love, and even though I'm not going to do these today, I still want to show them to you because I will read them, is Mr. McGee. And this series has more than 3 books, I'm quite sure, but right now I think I only own 3 of them. Learning to Ski with Mr. McGee. These ones are just so funny. A Camping Spree with Mr. McGee. And one of the reasons I love it is he's got a sidekick, his little dog, who I absolutely adore and is hysterical. And he's always with him. And then Down to the Sea with Mr. McGee. So I will read each of these as well. But I wanted to start today with, which today will be any day that you guys decide to watch these, if you do, a piglet called Mercy. And it's actually Mercy Watson. And so this is the initial story that was written, and the author is Kate DiCamillo, and she writes a lot of awesome stories, but this is her Mercy Watson series. And again, she has several books about Mercy, and I only own a few of them. And these are a little bit longer, they're chapter books, but I thought you might still enjoy the stories. So they'll be a little bit longer when I read these chapter books. This one is Mercy Watson Fights Crime. This one here is Mercy Watson Thinks Like a Pig. That's good, because she is a pig, even though sometimes she doesn't think she is. And this one here is Mercy Watson Goes for a Ride. They're just really cute, fun stories. I also just ordered some books about a detective, a little girl. I think she's a 2nd or 3rd grader, and she's a detective. So I'm hoping those come soon so I can read those to you guys as well. I think you'll enjoy those. So here's Mercy. Mercy, A Piglet Named Mercy by Kate DiCamillo. And the illustrations are by Chris Van Dusen. Wait, what? So the illustrator, the person that drew all the pictures for this book, the same guy who wrote and illustrated all of these books, If I. How cool is that? It's really cool. So sometimes you might just really love an author, maybe not even or an illustrator, maybe not even the author. Maybe you're just a big fan of the illustrator, the person who draws the pictures, and that's what draws you into the story. Maybe that's how I got to love all these books, because I absolutely adore the illustrations. I just love the colors. They're so bright and bold. Maybe that's why. Well, let's learn all about Mercy. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson lived in a house on Deckawoo Drive. Deckawoo Drive was an ordinary street in an ordinary town. And Mr. and Mrs. Watson were ordinary people who did ordinary things in ordinary ways. Nothing special. They trimmed their bushes, they vacuumed, they washed their cars. One day, Mrs. Watson said to Mr. Watson, "I wonder if we aren't just the tiniest bit too predictable." And if something's predictable, you just know what's going to happen. Things don't change, so you can predict what's coming next, because it's never changing. "Predictable? Us?" said Mr. Watson. "Surely not. It's just that sometimes I wish something different would happen," said Mrs. Watson. "Things are just fine as they are," said Mr. Watson. I sense a change coming, do you? But then something different did happen. Caution, pigs. Molson's pig transport. Look at all those little snouts sticking out. Oh no. Poor pig. Poor little pig. Someone very small and not ordinary at all found her way to the Watsons' house on Deckaroo Drive in the middle of the night. Mr. Watson made the discovery when he opened the door for the morning paper. Mrs. Watson, he called. Oh, Mrs. Watson, he called. Come see, come see. Oh, the little dear, said Mrs. Watson. Wait, said the piglet. I think she's hungry, said Mrs. Watson. Aw. Is that a pig? Said Eugenia Lincoln. Eugenia Lincoln lived next door, and she did not approve of surprises or pigs. It is, said Mrs. Watson. Can you believe our luck? Don't be ridiculous, said Eugenia Lincoln. A pig is not lucky at all. She sounds kind of grabby. Do you think perhaps the piglet would like a bottle of warm milk? Said Baby Lincoln. Baby was Eugenia's younger sister, and she was fond of surprises, and piglets too. Mr. Watson scratched his head. A bottle of milk? I don't know. This is all so unpredictable. Leave it to me, said Baby Lincoln. Oink, said the piglet again. Very opposite sisters, I would say. So this here is Baby Lincoln, and this is Eugenia. Aw. Mrs. Watson picked up the piglet and took her inside. She wrapped her in a blanket. Have you ever seen anything so darling, she said. Never, said Mr. Watson. He looks pretty happy about it. Here's the warm milk, said Baby Lincoln. I have it right here. Eugenia said, this is absurd. The piglet did not think it was absurd at all. She drank the entire bottle. And then she burped, and she oinked, oink, and went looking for more. She seems pretty happy. Doesn't seem sad at all that she fell off that truck. Oh my goodness, said Mr. Watson. Watch out, said Eugenia. She seems to like toast very much, said Baby. Oh, the darling, darling thing, said Mrs. Watson. Look at Mercy get right up there in the toaster. Who doesn't love toast? I like toast. Put a little sugar and cinnamon on my toast. Mr. Watson, said Mrs. Watson, perhaps you would like to hold her for a bit. Certainly, said Mr. Watson. He took the piglet in his arms. He rocked her. He hummed. How extraordinary, said Mr. Watson. She is a porcine wonder. And porcine refers to pigs. Oh, this piglet is a wish come true, said Mrs. Watson. What a mercy she is, said Baby. There you go, said Mr. Watson. We will call her Mercy. She is not a mercy, said Eugenia. She's a pig. Oink, oink, said the piglet. You cannot name a pig. Oh, you cannot name a pig Mercy, shouted Eugenia. See her back here? She's like, oh, what is happening? But they did name her Mercy. She was entirely unpredictable. She was not at all ordinary, and she was very, very loved. Look at that. They even got her her own high chair. Spoiled is what we like to call that. And she gets all the attention and all the love. The babies always do. So that, you guys, is the first book in the series of Mercy Watson. So like I said, the others are actually longer chapter books, but I'll read them and I'll put them up. And if you thought you liked this story and thought it was cute and fun, then you might really like the chapter books, because Mercy gets into a lot of predicaments. It's a little bit of trouble. She just gets into a little bit of trouble. And the stories are really fun to follow. So I hope you liked it. It was definitely something my kids liked when I read it to them when they were little. See you later.